This episode of On the Farm is in loving memory of Mr. Stephen Jones. Mr. Jones was employed within the ministry from 1974 to 2009, where he retired. During his tenure, he held the positions of Executive Officer, Assistant Secretary, Acting Permanent Secretary, Principal Assistant Secretary, Project Officer in Disaster Management. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture et al., we would like to say sincere condolences to the family of Mr. Stephen Jones. Our hearts and thoughts are with you. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Hi viewers, and welcome to another episode of On the Farm, where we are vocal about everything local. I am Shakima Hanley. On this episode, we are continuing with the school agro competition. Schools that were not featured on our last episode will be showcased here today. These schools include the St. Thomas's Primary, the Charlestown Primary, VOJN, the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary, and the St. James Primary School. Before we get into this episode, we take a short break and be right back after this.
My name is Quincy Bat. I am the Plant Health and Plant Quarantine Officer. I would just like to notify farmers and backyard farmers that we here at the Department of Agriculture identify a new type of pest that is prevalent in the Malvaceae family. When we're talking about Malvaceae family, we're talking about okra, sorrel, cotton, and also some of the Solanaceae families, such as eggplant, sweet pepper. This pest we found to be a leaf hopper. The leaf hopper is a small pest, and it's a sucking insect. This sucking insect serves as a vector for a virus that affects these host plants. So the pest, it's green, pale green, and it has flying capabilities, and it's very, very prolific. Signs and symptoms of the pest is that it sucks the plant and transmits a disease, and this disease you can see crinkling of the leaves, yellow lesions of the leaves, and necrotic lesions, and it affects the yield significantly. So once you see that in your okras, your sorrel, eggplants, give us a call and we're able to give you guidance on how to control this pest. Thank you.
We're here at the Charlestown Primary School in their greenhouse, and I'm going to ask the persons that are present here with me to introduce themselves. I'm going to start with the gentleman on my right. Tell us your name. What grade are you in?
5. Respect.
Okay.
Principal Haynes.
Okay.
Jamoy Nisbet.
What grade are you in?
Grade 5.
Okay. Jamoy, let's start with you. For the competition thus far, how do you feel about it?
Excited.
It's exciting. What did you do?
I planted some plants.
You planted some plants. Is there anything that you learned while you were planting?
I learned how to plant because it was my first time.
It was your first time. Okay. What about you, sir?
I learned different stuff and so, like seasoning pepper and green pepper and so.
So you learn a different type of plants.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you did that was fun for you?
Yeah. Planting the cantaloupes.
Planting the cantaloupe. Okay. And what do you know?
The whole thing fun.
The whole thing is fun.
Yeah,
What do you know about cantaloupe? What color do they come?
Some of them, the flower is kind of yellow and so, and the thing green.
Nice. You know your stuff. All right, Miss Haynes, for you, how has the initiative been thus far?
It has been a good one. I love that the Department of Agriculture were able to revive this program within school, you know, and my wish is that we find somehow to incorporate it into our curriculum. Our children are excited.
I'm happy to hear that. Definitely. I do agree with that 100%. How has your school benefited thus far? We know CPS is famous for their greenhouse with the ongoing process. So how has this competition enhanced your school program?
To tell you the truth, like I said, our children are excited. The teachers are more involved. The children are more involved because before it just used to be the group that focus on the greenhouse, but now it's more holistic, where everybody is on board. Everyone, is on board, and they are more involved in the planting and ideas and this type of things, you know. So it's more homely.
Okay. How were you able to come up with the idea of your layout? I see I'm standing in front of a nice hanging something that would represent like a vase. How did you guys come up with the idea?
Okay, it was an idea where we wanted to be more creative and we wanted to use up the space that we had, you know. So we were thinking that the plants that are more soft and will not readily take the sun blast, we keep them more on the inside of the greenhouse, and the plants that we know can stand up to the hot sun, the weather condition, we keep them more on the outside of the greenhouse, and we utilize the space that we have on the outside, put some on tires and so forth. So we try to be creative as best as we can.
Okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Is there anything that, maybe a tagline that your school usually go by, a motto or anything? We could end off with that right now.
Okay. Our team, our motto, the palm is gained with effort. So what you see here, it's a lot of whole school effort.
That is very good. We're here at the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School for the continuation of the school agro competition, and I have here with me a member of staff and a student, and I'm going to start first by asking the student to tell us his name.
My name is Kyan Blake and I represent the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School.
Very good. What grade are you in?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. Okay, and I have the member of staff here. Can you introduce yourself? Okay.
Yeah, I'm the attendance security officer.
Tell us, for you, how has the competition been thus far?
The competition was good. We started planting. It was nice. I love the experience. I wish we could continue more things like these in the garden.
Tell us one fun thing that you did.
One fun thing that I did was paint. I love to paint.
You love to paint. Okay. You planted anything?
Yes.
Which plant did you plant?
Tomato. I plant tomato for grade 6. We have our section right over here, as you see.
Okay. All right. You learn anything new since being a part of the competition?
Yeah, I learned how to plant fruits and how people plant and the different ways we plant.
Okay. All right. So, sir, tell us, how do you feel about the initiative?
I think it's a good one because agriculture, as everybody's saying, agriculture is key. Food security, and I think more emphasis will be placed on agriculture. Getting the kids involved at that early age is very good because, as I said, food security is key down the road based on all the non-communicable diseases, obesity, hypertension and stuff. If we get the children into planting, eating what they grow and growing what they eat, Definitely. It will make a big difference.
Okay. The format behind how the garden is set up, tell us a bit about that.
Okay, what happened initially, when the project was conceptualized, we were brainstorming as to how, because I think they mentioned one of the aspects would be creativity.
Yes.
So what we did is, we had the tiles, and I suggested that we use the tiles. But then when I came back up, I realized they laid out all the tiles in rows. But then I said, but wait a while, I mean, we could do something creative. So what we did, we used the letters of the school, the EPPS. So as you can see, the tires are marked out in the EPPS. And this is an exclamation mark right here.
Put emphasis on it. Lovely,
so
lovely.
We have 76 tires. We have 76 students at the school. So we figured out if every child could get a tire and be able to plant something, and so they'll have an intimate reaction with the plant. So
nice, that's lovely. Do you guys make it an educational experience for them?
Well, definitely it has to be, because what I'm saying is Originally, we had the idea of a school garden. There was one in place before I came, but it was, and then they decided to revive the school garden in collaboration with the One Love Rastafari Foundation.
Okay.
We're already in the process of get organized, and then this thing came up. This competition either came up, so we decided to focus on that for the time being. But it will be an ongoing project.
Nice.
When the competition is over, we'll continue the project because I think it's important that they get the kids, get their hands down in the soil and understand what agriculture is about.
And that's what I love to hear. That's one of the main reasons that we wanted to create this competition, so that the children can grow appreciation about agriculture, learn about agriculture, and that the schools can become food sustainable so they can provide for their cafeteria. How do you think has the school benefited so far?
Well, in terms of what I can say, the children, in terms of the excitement, I can tell you they're excited about it. Because apart from the creativity, they wanted to get involved with the painting, they wanted to get their hands involved. Like as you can see, we did some mulching, and they were integrally involved. So I think the sensitization is good for the kids. Let them understand, because a lot of them are saying, but sir, I don't want to get my hand dirty. But when they saw the other classmates getting involved, they themselves get involved. So, but it's important, and they could carry on the message to the parents saying, but mommy, daddy, we're planting, so get the awareness going.
Definitely. We're here at the St. Thomas's Primary School as we continue our agro competition visits to each school. I have here with me a member of staff and 3 students, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, starting from the gentleman on my far right.
Good afternoon, my name is Rajan Forbes.
What grade you're in?
Grade 5 Ambition.
Okay.
And I am Mrs. Althea Libert. I'm the Deputy Principal.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
I am Abbas Barkrisen in grade 5 Prudence.
Okay. And you?
I am Kayeja Nisbet in grade 5 Prudence.
Okay. Madam Deputy Principal, tell us, how do you feel about this initiative?
I think it is quite timely, and I want to congratulate the department on such venture. And it has helped the children to be more aware of agriculture and help them to know that we should be eating, planting our own food. I also think that we shouldn't really be importing food when we can grow our own food here on the island. It will be cheaper, it will be cheaper, and it will be more nutritious, I think. And when it comes to sustainable development and food security, we hear a lot about that around the world. And so therefore, I think that this venture, we will work towards that.
Okay, in terms of the layout, the conceptualization of the layout, I'm seeing a lot of different stuff here. It's very creative. Tell us a bit about how this format came about.
Well, actually, this was our original plan. Our garden should have been up on the hill above there, but we had problem with the plowing. And so therefore, because we were behind time, we put our heads together very quickly, the members of staff, and we came up with utilizing the space inside here. So we try as best as we can to utilize the space. We try to use recycled things. We use recycled tires where the children hand painted them themselves, and we got bottles. The children also brought those bottles from home, and then we got some recycled flower pots, and then we got one of our good friends to come and build us the trough we have here on either side. And as you can see in the trough, what we try to do some intercropping where we have the cantaloupe and the seasoned peppers, because seasoned peppers will grow up, and the cantaloupe, when they're ready, they will just go over and they will spread inside in here and fill up the area inside in here. And behind us where we have the tomatoes in the tires and the lettuce in the bottles, the tomatoes will form a shade for the lettuce when they both start growing. So that is how we really came about the idea of utilizing this space.
I'm seeing climate smart agriculture. I am seeing good agricultural practices here. So this is good. I hope that you guys were using this as an educational experience for the students as well.
Yes.
Okay. How the school has benefited thus far? How do you think you guys can benefit forward?
Well, thus far we have benefited in terms of we saw teachers and students working collaboratively to get the garden going, and I think it was fun. The children enjoyed doing what they did, and in the future when they start reaping and bearing, our kitchen, because we have a lunch program, they will benefit from the produce, and the children themselves will get the same produce to eat for their lunch.
For you, tell us how the competition is thus far.
Definitely, I'm enjoying it because I was painting the tires and preparing the soil for planting.
Okay. In terms of you, what new thing did you learn?
I learned that you can use resources from your homes to plant crops, such as tires, bottles, and pots, planting pots.
Pots, good. What did you do in the What did you do in your garden?
I like doing planting plants and preparing the soil for the plants.
Okay, all right then. We're here at the VOJN school, and I have here with me a young lady, and I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. Tell us your name.
My name is Shusha Batson.
What grade are you in?
I'm in grade 5.
Okay. And the principal of the school, and I'm going to ask her to introduce herself as well.
Okay, my name is Mistress Chase Wanston Wilkin, head teacher for VOJN Primary School.
Okay, Miss Wilkin, how do you feel about this initiative?
I feel very confident about this initiative. Actually, it is the timely one when we realize that all across the Caribbean there's a thrust towards starting gardens in your home, starting gardens in your schools, and making use of them. And of course, to produce more food for our students and our teachers. And with this project, we can also provide food for the schools meals program.
Okay. I know you guys would have had a garden before, and now that is revived. How you think thus far it would have benefited the school?
It has benefited the school in that we would have had input from all students and staff, in the sense that we all got on board, we were all excited to see the garden being revived. And as I said before, it would help to be a part of sustainable development as we provide food for the kitchen.
Okay, in terms of the layout of the farm, how did you guys come up with the layout?
Wow, interesting. Now, we had an original area at the front where we would have started before, so we revived that area. Okay. And then we added to the garden where we have our cantaloupe planted in beds here. The children were so interested in painting the tires, and we use the tires for gardening space as well. We have the pots and blocks areas as well. So we actually used our creativity to provide gardening space.
Okay, lovely. How has the competition been for you thus far?
Very good.
Very good. What did you do?
Painting the tires.
You painted. You planted anything?
No.
No? Okay. Anything new that you learned about agriculture while doing this?
Planting can be hard, but it's also fun.
It can be hard, but it's also fun. So do you usually plant at home, or this is your first time?
No, I plant at home many times.
Okay, so you know what you're doing then?
Yes.
All right then. Tell the viewers, what did you personally did in the farm, in your garden yourself?
I took out the weed from the garden.
So you helped weed? Yes. Lovely. And I have something here. I was told you're the mastermind behind of this. What is this? Tell the viewers, what is this?
A watering can.
A watering can. And where you came up with this idea? It's just see the bottle and decide it could use as a watering can. You bore some holes on the top and you just water?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to show the viewers in a bit how you use it to water your plants. Okay, and this is very creative, this is innovative, and this is using what you have. So I'm so proud of you for this, okay? All right then. We're here at our final stop, the last school for our competition. We are at the St. James Primary, and I'm going to start by asking the students to tell us their name and what class they're in. So I'm start with you. What is your name?
Kaija Bryant, and I'm in grade 2.
Okay.
Tahim Grant, and I'm in grade 1.
We didn't hear that. Say that again.
I am Tahim Grant, and I'm in grade 1.
Okay. What is your name?
Kiara Warner, and I am in kindergarten.
Okay. What's your name?
Jordan Randy William, and I am in grade 3.
My name is Taja Mills, and I am in grade 6.
Okay. And our only adult here, can you tell us your name?
Okay, I am Daniel Wallace. I'm the principal of St. James's Primary.
Okay, lovely. All right, so I'm going to start with the children. I'm going to start with you on the far right. Tell us, how do you feel about the competition?
Great.
It's great? Okay. And for you next to me, what fun thing you did while in the competition?
I pulled the weed.
You pulled weeds, okay. You little one in front of me, what did you plant in the garden?
I planted cantaloupe and lettuce.
Lovely. And what colors you can see a cantaloupe?
Yellow and green.
Nice, that's very good. All right, tell me, what do you like to do in the garden?
I like to water the plants
You like
with a
to watch
bottle.
with bottles. Lovely. And the young lady on the end, tell me, one thing did you learn while you were working in the garden?
I learned that the weeds can grow as big as the plants.
Okay, lovely. All right, principal, tell us, how do you feel about the initiative?
It is a great initiative. It's always good that children can see where their food comes from. And so, while gardening would have been something we would have done before, I think having agriculture come in and being a part of the school garden is great.
Okay.
And I do hope that the relationship would go beyond this competition.
Definitely. In terms of the layout of your garden, tell us, how did the idea came about?
Okay, the layout began with a group that assisted us in the past, headed by a past teacher, Miss Shelley Huggins. The Rastafarians who normally help, schools with their garden and so on, they were the ones who helped us get some tires and so on. So the layout, however, it helps for good drainage, as you can see, and it also allows for each child to claim a tire. Okay. So they plant, they know which tire is theirs, and they can take good care of it.
Okay. How has the school benefited thus far?
Okay, so far, I think just having the variety of plants and the number of plants would, benefit us in the future. We normally use a lot of fruits in our lunch program, and so I think especially the cantaloupes would serve well there. Vegetables and fruits, they are an everyday part of our lunch program.
Okay. Were you able to create an educational experience from this, not only amongst the students, but even with your teachers?
Okay, our garden is not only used for children coming in. They learn, they eat what they grow. They learn that the pollination comes from the bees and the butterflies and so on that comes into the garden. So it's not just a hands-on activity, but an educational one as well.
Nice. And there you have it, viewers. Another episode of On the Farm, where we're vocal about everything local. Just to recap this episode, we showcased the remaining schools in the school agro competition. And as you can see, I'm seated among some lovely lettuce, just some of the produce that the schools had on the production during the competition. Until next time, I am Shakima Hanley. May the best school win. You'll find out just now. Stay tuned. Bye.